Great question. I wrote a column on my website, getting a lot of crap because of what I wrote, but I wrote from the heart. I asked the question to Brian Dutcher, who are you? I mean, we are now at the midway point of the basketball season, and this team has staggered in the middle of the season offensively. There are flashes in which they've not played great defense. Some of the things that we thought that would be strengths have kind of eradicated away. They roared out of the gate, played a tough non-conference schedule. They did beat the University of Houston, nationally ranked as they are. They took apart Creighton. They were in a hell of a game against Gonzaga. And then it's all unraveled. They just don't look to be the same basketball team right now that they were at the start of the season. Begs the question, who are they? I mean, we're talking about Miles not being the gunner that he was early in the season. We're talking about the three-point shooters becoming very, very erratic. No Reese Waters signing. For every good game Magoon Gwath has offensively, there's a ton of games in which he's, quote, MIA. And the same thing with the backup center who came from Tennessee. You just never know what you're going to get. The bench is thin. Young guys are going to have spurts where they play well and then have spurts where they're a little bit overwhelmed by it. But I guess what just shocks me, I sat there and I watched them get outscored 18-2 by the Air Force Academy in one game at home. Sat there and watched them lose an 18-point lead at home to Utah State. Saw them get torched at New Mexico by 20 plus, although that's understandable because it's the Pitt, it's Albuquerque, and it's a young basketball team. And this situation with Air Force and Colorado Springs should have lost the game to a really lowly team, somehow won it, and then obviously had this game where they staggered and should have been beaten by San Jose State, somehow won that coming from 21 back. It's just not the same program right now. Is it just by virtue of being so young? Or is there a deficiency there that maybe they have to realize they don't have the right components to the roster? And this is going to infuriate everybody. As great as Aztec basketball was under Steve Fisher and has continued under that guy, Brian Dutcher, they're not the best basketball team in town. UCSD is about to get to 17 wins. The Tritons, the ones that used to be small college and are now in Division I, Big West. UCSD almost beat San Diego State. And hell, I bet if they played them now, they might beat them. So who are you, San Diego State? This may infuriate Aztec fans, friends, and alums. That's my perspective. And by the way, I'm going to invoke my favorite phrase as it relates to being a sports talk show host. Call my Kiss My Aztec line and give me a response. John, go ahead. Yeah, John and I text back and forth during the course of the games, and he's got opinions too. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was having a heart attack on Tuesday night, the way that game unfolded. Okay, first of all, bullshit alert. This is all BS right now. You are trying to stir the pot. Okay. Now the Aztecs are young. They're one of the youngest teams in all of NCAA D1, especially of those that are contending for March Madness. And you're starting what? I don't know. There's like 3 freshmen that get a lot of minutes. You got Magoon Gwath is starting. He's a freshman. It's a very young team. And I think there was 2 moments in the press conference afterwards that Dutcher talked about that I thought were important. One was how he said in the beginning of the game, the players were playing too fast, and they were trying to, obviously they got behind quick because San Jose State was out of their mind, hitting 3-point shots from everywhere. The young men there wanted to get 20 points back in one possession. So they were going too fast, and they're playing. This is the key part. When they're young, they're 19, 20, they're playing in front of their dudes, in front of their friends, in front of their family. And they want to prove that these guys are superstars, and they just tried too hard. And then the second part of it is the whole Miles Byrd thing, where, Dutcher ripped into Byrd, rightfully so, because Byrd was getting the ball early in the possession and trying to play hero ball, driving to the basket, going into triple teams, and was getting mugged. And Dutcher rightfully said, hey, man, if it's not there, you pass it, you move the ball around. It's like a 30-second clock. The ball will find you again, and then you're going to make the shot. And then, of course, Miles Byrd made that adjustment, and the team did well in the second half. So, who are you? This is a legit program. This is a Power 5, Power 4 program. I don't care what conference they're in. Great coaching, good kids. These are really good character kids and great athletes. I mean, we were seeing from Magoon, Gwath, and Miles Byrd is unbelievable. I am still fully on board with this Aztec team.
Okay, so your response is, shut the bleep up. They're 14-5. My response to your response is, if they can't play more consistently, their ass is going to be out of the Mountain West Conference tourney, and they'll be beyond being a bubble team. And UCSD will be in the tournament, and San Diego State will be like you and me sitting at home watching it on TV. You're not.
Okay.
You're telling me that being down 30-10 to San Jose is acceptable.
No,
you're telling me that letting Air Force have an 18-2 run at you at home in front of the Vegas Crazies is acceptable. You're telling me getting your ass kicked in New Mexico, losing to Vegas, and almost losing to Colorado Springs is acceptable? Who are you?
But
What's
this is college basketball. This is not just an Aztec thing. This happens with all kinds of teams. I mean, didn't Santa Clara beat Gonzaga? I mean, there's all kinds of this sort of crazy stuff that goes down. So I'm fully on board. Now, granted, I'm a UCSD alum. I'm overjoyed that the Tritons are doing well, and they still got to knock off Irvine if they think they have a shot to get to the big dance. But the Aztecs are better than the Tritons. The Aztecs beat the Tritons, you know. So I love UCSD, but the Aztecs are a different level. So I'm concerned. I share your opinion. They lost 3 at home. You know, one of them was to Gonzaga, which you can sort of excuse, but the other 2 losses at home were unacceptable. But these guys have got to figure it out, and they'll be all right. They're going to get to the tournament, the Mountain West tournament in Vegas. They're going to have to go on a run. But to your point, if they lose another game really in this Mountain West regular season against some of these wobegones at the bottom of the list, they're going to be knocking themselves out of consideration for an at-large bid.
I'm not trying to incite anybody, but I want you to call my Kiss My Aztec line and just give me your opinion. Is that validity, what I said? Aztecs, who are you? This late in the season, to have this many question marks with a team that played so well early, or if people figured them out? You're into college basketball. Feel free to jump on board. Join us. The Fans Forum chat box is open. And I want you